and welcome to Tina's Joyful Kitchen. And on today's show, we're going to make Paleo Irish Stew and this Arugula orange salad that is absolutely delicious and scrumptious, and they go together. Yes, they do. All right, let me just introduce myself again real quick. My name is Tina McDermott, and I am calling myself the Lazy Inspirational Chef. I've been doing this for 21 some years. And I'll tell you, this is my love, this is my passion, and there's literally no place that I'd rather be than right here, right now, in my kitchen, teaching you how you can find joy in the kitchen, even if you don't know how to cook, or if you don't like to cook, or have time to cook, so that you can live a life that's full of health, vibrancy, and free from disease, free from diets, free from all that stuff. All right, you ready? Let's get the party started. Paleo Irish Stew, here we come, here we come. Today I'm going to use my Instant Pot. You can simply do this in a crock pot or in a stovetop Dutch oven, okay? Now, if you're using a crock pot, the only difference is that you're going to cook it on low for 4 hours or high for 8 hours. And in the Instant Pot, I'm going to cook it for 30 minutes, but it takes almost an hour to cook, but that's the difference. Also, don't skimp. If you're doing this in the crock pot, make sure that you saute the meat like I'm going to be doing in a separate pan and then throw it in the crock pot. Otherwise, you're going to be missing that flavor that you're going to get from the saute, So even in the Instant Pot, which is, I love the Instant Pot because it's all one pot cooking, and it makes things really simple, I'm putting it on saute. So we're gonna saute, and I'm gonna saute in a little bit of coconut oil. Why? I love coconut oil because it's antiviral, antibacterial, and antimicrobial. I talk about it all the time. Also, coconut oil, if it's refined, has a smoke point of 400. Unrefined has about, I think, 300. Don't quote me on that, okay? So it's got a high smoke point, and it's really good for stir frying. I'm going to start with some onions because my wonderful assistants chopped up onions for us. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more coconut oil in the bottom there. There we go. So I've got my saute on medium. Let's set that aside. You could use shallots for this. I love shallots. I'm on a shallot kick these days. Shallots are wonderful because it's like a cross between an onion and a garlic. It's not technically, but the flavor is very delicate and sweet and aromatic. I love my shallots, but we're using onions today. So we're gonna stir fry our onions, and I'm gonna stir fry some carrots because they're the harder vegetables and I like them stir fried. I'm gonna get one of my handy dandy spoons. What's a good Italian without her wooden spoons? And we'll get that stirred about. Now, there's something else I want to do here for you. I know it's Irish stew, but I just have to bring my Italianness into all of this. And Italians love to use red hot peppers. And these are chili peppers that my dad grew, because he grows them much better than I do, and dehydrates them. Normally he grinds them in a dedicated coffee grinder for me. And I'm getting the seeds out because you don't want all the seeds. They're super hot. And I'm going to put a little piece of that red hot chili pepper right in the bottom. And it's not because I want it hot. It's because I want the flavor to pop. And that's what that red hot chili pepper is going to do. Okay, so it's just a red chili pepper. These are those really hot seeds that I'm going to remove so that they don't end up in there. Okay. Next, while that is stir frying up, the other thing I want to get sauteed and stir fried up a little bit is the beef, right? And I'm going to put liver in there as well. It's not in the recipe that you'll get, but I'm absolutely going to put liver because we don't use liver enough. And I think it's just underrated for what liver does for you. Beef, let's talk about beef real quick. Let's get that aside. Beef is really good for you. I eat it at least once a week. Once a week is good. It's when you eat things too many times in a row that's not good for you. But it's grass-fed, grass-finished, really good beef. And that's what you want to get. I'm going to salt my beef and my liver right now. Liver, make sure you get organic liver because liver is an organ that filters, okay? And so you want it organic. And liver is really, it's a powerhouse of nutrition for your body. It's got vitamin A, it's got folate, it has and there's a couple other things that it has in there, and I'm trying to remember all of them. But vitamin A really stands out for me as one of the potent nutrients in liver. I remember my sister suffered with cancer, and every time that she would come back from chemo, my mom would cook her liver. No one else was allowed to eat it, although we liked it. And it was for Anna, right? Anna had to have the liver because it really helps with again, that vitamin A, okay? Folate, riboflavin, I think a couple other things. So I'm gonna saute the liver and the ground meat right in there. Do not reuse this. This goes right in the sink, okay? And if you were to touch raw meat, what do? You'll wash your hands. Wash your hands right away. So we're just gonna get that nice and brown. Get that nice and brown. And if you're doing this in a crock pot, maybe 5-10 minutes of browning this, maybe 5. That's enough. And then put it into the crock pot, okay? Since I'm using the Instant Pot, we're just gonna let that saute, and I don't have to remove it from the Instant Pot. Now, with with Irish stew, I love the root vegetables. I love root vegetables. So we're going to add a couple of root vegetables in here. Here is celeriac. Celeriac is, it's in the celery family. It's in the celery family, and this is what it looks like. It's a root vegetable that does well when it is cooked for a long time in a crock pot or in an Instant Pot. And we scrubbed this. I washed them. I scrubbed them with my little handy dandy scrubber. But I want to get some of the darker skin off. In most of my root vegetables, I leave the skin on because the skin has vitamins in it. It also has fiber that we need. So again, I'm just gonna get some of the brown pieces off that I don't like, but the rest of it I'm gonna keep, and we're gonna chop it up into little pieces and put it right into the stew. My scraps go where? If you know my show, if you've been on my show, you know my scraps go into the compost. Now, round things, what do we do with round things? We make them flat. So you're gonna get your knife, score it, hand flat on the top, and cut it in half. You see now it's flat and it's not gonna roll all over the place, okay? Now we're gonna make some slices here. This is celeriac, and we're gonna cube this celeriac. We're gonna cube it, and then I'll show you some of the other root vegetables that I have here we go. You see how every time I slice on something that's thick, I have my hand. You don't have to rely just on your right arm. Get the other hand to help you. And you know, I have my Japanese chef knife, but I don't like to use a thinner knife on a heavier, just throw things right in as you get them, on a heavier vegetable. I like a heavier knife. And also this particular knife has these little grooves in there, and what they do, they help to release the vegetable. Here, I'll show you when I slice this. It releases right away, where if I use this knife, it kind of, it's not sticking on this one. Typically it sticks to that, and I don't like that, okay? So here we go. We're gonna get that nice and chopped up. Remember, root vegetables, they go underused. People don't value them as much, and they're wonderful in slow cooking or, again, in the Instant Pot. Nice big cubes, throw them right in. Yeah, a lot of people, they like to chop their things up and then add them to, chop everything up and then start cooking. Why? Stuff needs to cook, so you might as well just chop and add, chop and add, chop and add, right? Chop and add. Remember, lazy. I'm lazy. I'm a hungry girl, and I want to get things done quick, and I also want to inspire you to not have to follow a recipe exactly. And if you look at my recipe, it doesn't have all of these things. I don't think it has celeriac, but it doesn't have rutabaga, and that's what we're going to do next. And I saw the rutabaga at the store, and I'm like, oh, rutabaga is wonderful in Irish stew. So we're gonna put rutabaga in there. And that's what we're gonna chop up next, some rutabaga. And what other root vegetables would be nice? These are beets, beetroots, and of course the beet greens, okay? The beetroots and the beet greens, they would be lovely in this soup, but they're a little on the sweet side, and so is rutabaga. So I'm not gonna add these to this stew the beets, and you could add the beet greens if you wanted to, but my husband will not eat the soup afterwards, so we're not going to do that. I want to get this piece of the rutabaga off. Again, heavier knife for a heavier job. I'm not going to peel it. I'm just going to take any kind of tails off or some pieces, the eyes that I don't like. And there we go. We're just going to use the skin. Oh, there's another little eye there that I don't like. We're going to compost that. And the rest we're going to eat. We're going to eat. It's good for you. Okay? There's nothing wrong with the skin, especially when you're cooking it in the slow cooker or in the Instant Pot. What do we do with round things? We make them flat. I know you're going to be able to finish my sentences really soon, right? This is a rutabaga. I find starchy and sweet at the same time. I find it's delicious. Another tuber that you could put into this stew would be sweet potatoes, if you like sweet. And those are another root vegetable. Love root vegetables in my stew. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's get the rest of this chopped up for us. And rutabaga. Say that 5 times fast. Rutabaga, 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 rutabaga. I don't know. I'm being silly right now. Okay, there we go. Rutabagas in. What else do we want in our... Oh, here's a golden beet, by the way. I watched this the other day. Instead of the red beet, here's a golden beet. Delicious. I think these are actually sweeter than the red ones. Again, we could put the red beets in there, but there's a lot going on. And I did want to show you something else that I found at the store the other day. And I thought it was really nice to show it to you. This is a watermelon radish. I'm not going to put radishes in the stew. I'm going to put, so I have some Brussels sprouts. I'm going to throw those in there. And this is a watermelon radish. Isn't that beautiful? I think it's beautiful. And so be inspired to use whatever vegetables you want in your stew. I have some leftover Brussels sprouts. I was making a dish for people in India the other day. And do you know Brussels sprouts are an exotic food in India? It's an exotic food. So they're hard to find. Where here we can find Brussels sprouts almost anywhere. And so I made a roasted beets. It was supposed to be roasted beets and Brussels sprouts. And we're like, I don't know if we're going to find Brussels sprouts. So we did roasted beets and radishes. Yep, roasted beets and radishes is what we did. And they liked it. They liked the idea. I had this really big ruby red radish. It was just as big as this watermelon radish, but it was ruby red. It was gorgeous. But yeah, get inspired to use whatever you have in the house, because guess how many cups of vegetables we need a day? Does anybody have a clue? I'm just going to give you a couple seconds to think. How many cups of vegetables do you think that we need a day? I'm going to ask my assistant in the other room, because do you know the answer? How many cups of vegetables do we need a day? Oh, one's putting up 10, one's putting up a 5. All right, now it's 10 to 12 cups of vegetables a day. It's 10 to 12 cups of vegetables a day. And when you make this Paleo Irish stew, you're going to get 2 to 3 or 4 cups of vegetables all at the same time. So what is this? What am I cutting? They kind of look like carrots, but they're not carrots. It's a parsnip. It's a parsnip. I love parsnips. I love everything, don't I? I just love the world. I love all vegetables. I love all fruits. Everything that comes from Mother Nature, I just adore. And these are also, I'm trying to remember the flavor, if I can describe the flavor of parsnips. Again, it's a root vegetable, like carrots are root vegetables, and it's going to be that starchiness, and it smells like carrot, I'll tell you. It smells like carrot, but these are really nice in this stew. What do we do with round things? We make them flat. So I'm going to flatten this out. I'm stirring this up. My liver and beef is getting nice and browned up. Here, I'll even show it to you so you can see it. Just want to see it's not cooked yet by no means, but it's getting nice and browned up, and that's what we want. Okay? Okay, let's get some parsnips in there. Now, I don't think enough people think outside the box of the standard carrots and celery and onions in their mix, and that's why I want you to think when you're making this stew, think of all of the root vegetables that they would use in Ireland, and these are them. The rutabagas, the parsnips, and even the radishes. Turnips. I didn't have turnips. I couldn't find turnips today. And you could have put a turnip in here very easily. Okay, there we go. Just chop and go, chop and go, chop and go, chop and go. Next, we're gonna put in, after all of these vegetables, I'm trying to get these done really quick. So you see how I'm just chopping them all together? But when it came to the fatter pieces, you know, it's okay to do things a little on the sloppy side. As long as it'll all fit on a spoon in the end, we're good to go. Never, ever, 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 ever use your knife to pick up vegetables. Use a little scraper or use the most important tools in the kitchen, your hands, okay? Use the most important tools in your kitchen. Now, why don't you want to scrape the knife? It will dull your knife. And a dull knife is a dangerous knife. And we do not want to be dangerous in the kitchen. We want to love on our fingers and make sure that our fingers stay intact. Here we go. We're just gonna mix all that up. And let's see. Next, we're going to put in some of the liquid and some of the other flavor points of this recipe. I've got tomato paste. So we're gonna put a can of organic tomato paste in there. If you don't have tomato paste, it's okay to use tomatoes, a can of tomatoes. It's okay. You know, oh, I can't make a recipe, I don't have tomato paste. Sure you can. Put regular tomatoes in there. You'll be fine. Just put less broth. Put less of the broth in there. So here we go. We've got that going. And what else? We're going to put, what's Irish stew without some beer? Now look, you can get alcoholic beer or non-alcoholic beer. The alcohol will cook off. Because my husband is non-alcoholic, we have a non-alcoholic beer here in the house. And we're gonna put that right in there. Yup, beer in soup. And if you don't have the beer, don't worry, put extra broth, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So there we go. And we're gonna put a bay leaf. I love bay leaves. In Italian, they're called alloro. I love the word in Italian, alloro. And the flavor that this imparts is just astounding. At the end of the stew, you can fish this out and just put it in the compost. If it ends up in your bowl, by all means, let it end up in your bowl. Okay, so I'm not gonna put them in yet because they'll break up. I'll put them in a few minutes. But we do wanna put some wonderful garlic. I think I have a garlic press somewhere in my life. Is there a garlic press somewhere around? I'm gonna do a garlic press on these guys. And now garlic is wonderful because it's same thing as the coconut oil, antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial. These were people, the normal antibiotics were normal foods when before we had antibiotics. So garlic, fresh garlic. If you buy garlic that is jarred or powdered, you are not going to get those antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial constituents that you want from garlic, okay? So get fresh garlic, and you see I've just smashed it down, and all the rest gets to go into the compost. It's all good, and you can either peel it and then put it in your garlic press, or you can just put it right into the garlic press, okay? So I smash it, and in smashing it, it makes it easier to peel. I find when you peel it, it's easier to get out of the garlic press. It's easier to, because if I don't peel it, I'll show you what happens. Here, I'm not gonna peel that piece, and I'm gonna smash it in there. It works. A little bit more muscle. Okay, I'm just exaggerating there. But now we've got to get this piece out, okay? So you just have to work a little bit differently. So you can decide whether you want to peel it ahead of time or not. The garlic presses were made, I think I got a little garlic in my eye. That's okay. The garlic presses were originally made to not have to peel it ahead of time. There we go. Get a little bit of fresh garlic in there. Hey, if you don't have fresh garlic, it's okay. You could use the powdered, you could use the jarred, but I implore you in the future, get fresh garlic. Get fresh garlic. As an Italian child, my mom is always in the kitchen cooking, and as you go through the through the kitchen, you get stuck with the menial jobs like peeling the garlic. So we used to hate peeling garlic, and now I find it very cathartic. I love peeling garlic. It just reminds me of my childhood, and goodness, because you're going to get all of those antibacterial effects of the garlic. Okay, let's put that aside. Put that aside. I think that's enough garlic. If you want to put 4, 5, 10 cloves, go for it, but you don't have to. Okay, let's get all of that cleaned up. And next we're going to put some broth in there. I have some organic beef broth. I have some organic beef broth, and I'm using organic because most stocks and soups that are prepackaged have MSG in them. MSG is an excitotoxin. It literally passes the blood-brain barrier and excites the brain cells until they die, and we don't want that. We don't want to kill our brain cells. Having suffered from Lyme disease, you know, I've killed enough brain cells in my life, so we don't want to do that. Here we go. That's that. Let me make sure I've got everything that I need in here. We need some fresh thyme. Let me get this out of the way. And let me stir this up real quick because I've got that tomato paste on the top. This will all, you don't have to stir it up too much because it'll process, it'll flow through all on its own. Okay, so let's get some fresh thyme. That's what I have here. I've got a fresh plant of thyme, and I'm going to snip some of it off using my kitchen scissors. And there we go. There we go. And we'll put that back. Thyme, it's so lovely. It's absolutely lovely thyme, the smell of it. Now, when we cut our herbs, I want you to know that I don't want you to leave the essence of the herb on your cutting board. If you chop your herbs and your cutting board is all green, it's because you've macerated them. We don't want to macerate them. We want the herbs to be in the stew. So what you're going to do, you don't have to destem thyme. So you're just going to kind of bunch it up if you can. Roll it into a bunch. And now we're going to slice it once, maybe twice if they're really big, okay? Maybe twice. But you're just going to slice through it one time. You're just going to slice through it one time. That's it. That's it. And you see, there is no green left over on my cutting board. Well, there's a green little thyme there, but there's no other, I didn't leave my thyme on the cutting board. The thyme is here, and it's going to go right into my dish. So there we go. We've got thyme. I need some black pepper. I always do freshly ground black pepper. There is such a difference in the flavor profile of something that's fresh and ground, kind of the same concept of the garlic. You want it fresh and cut it yourself versus getting it the powdered. It's already been used up for the most part. Alloro, bay leaf, going right in. Don't want that, I mean, we need that. We're gonna do some sea salt. Here's my sea salt. There's 2 teaspoons here. And here's the thing, I already salted my meat, and you could always add salt, but you can't take it away. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put only 1 teaspoon of the salt in there, because I don't know, I feel like I don't want, if you over salt it, you ruin the meal. So I'm only gonna put 1 teaspoon in there, because 1 teaspoon I pretty much used on the meat when I salted the meat, okay? At the end, if you feel like you need more salt, by all means, add it. Sea salt, we love sea salt because it's full of minerals. And because of over farming, our vegetables and our fruits are devoid of those minerals, and our bodies need them. They're essential for us. So that's why I always choose sea salt. Okay, what else are we missing here? We've got the stock, we got the beer, and we need a little bit of arrowroot. I'm gonna put a tablespoon of arrowroot powder in there. Arrowroot acts like cornstarch. It's because just, again, we have the starch from all of the tubers that we put in there, but let's do a little bit of arrowroot. And we can put it now, or we can put it in at the very end. Doesn't matter, okay? So arrowroot, I don't use cornstarch because most corn is genetically modified, and there's a whole bunch of plethora of issues with genetically modified organisms. The bottom line is that it emits, it gives you pesticides in your gut, and that kills off all of your good bacteria. And you don't want to kill your good bacteria. You want to keep your good bacteria. Okay. Fresh parsley leaves, I'm going to add those later. I just incorporated the arrowroot starch right in there, and we're good to go. Here we are. We're going to cancel saute. I'm going to put it on pressure cook for 30 minutes. Now let's talk about the Instant Pot. If you're doing crock pot, by all means, put the lid on, 4 hours high, 8 hours low, you're good to go. With the Instant Pot, if you store your Instant Pot, always take this out, wash it, of course, every single time, and store it like so. Do not store them together because it could have mold and you want it to dry completely. So I'm always tucking it in. And if you see that this one's discolored, it's because I use it all the time when I make soups and stocks and all of that stuff, okay? You can get a different color for fish. You can get a different color for baked goods if you're doing that, or eggs or whatnot, okay? So that's the lid. So now we're going to put the lid on. I'm going to twist it on, and I'm going to make sure that my valve is closed. And now I'm going to, it's already on. So now with the Instant Pot, it's going to take some time to come to pressure. The colder the ingredients, the longer it takes to come to pressure. The warmer the ingredients, we already sauteed, it'll take a little more time to come to pressure. Then it will cook for the 30 minutes that I put it on, and then it will take time to come down from pressure, okay? So another 10, 15 minutes to naturally release the steam, or you can release it manually, and I can show you how to do that when we come back to that. Okay, so let's let that sit for now, and next we're going to make our arugula salad. Ready? All right, so arugula salad with almonds and orange slices. I just simply love arugula. Arugula has always been one of my favorite lettuces, and I'll just show you a couple of the leaves here. They're typically longer, leaner leaves, and they're on the bitter side. They're on the bitter side, and I love bitter. And literally our palates want all of the different flavor points in each and every meal, from the sweet to the savory to the bitter to the savory. Then there's umami, which is, there's another flavor that I'm missing in there. It'll come to me in a minute. And you want all of those flavors in one meal. And this particular meal, of course, this is going to be on a side to the paleo stew. You're going to get that with the arugula. If you don't like arugula, or you're like, it's not my favorite, try mixing a little in with other lettuces. This is actually a mix of spinach and arugula. Spinach and arugula is in this mix. That's my spinach. My arugula and my spinach. So get a little mix and try there, or just put a little bit of the arugula. You need bitter because bitter is really good to help cleanse the liver. Yeah, really good to help cleanse the liver. So in this salad, super simple. We're going to put, of course, our lettuces, the arugula, in this case, it's arugula and spinach. We're going to get some absolutely beautifully thinly sliced radishes. The only way I like to eat them is thinly sliced. We're just going to put them right on top. And I actually like radishes roasted even better than I like them fresh. But fresh, when they're thinly sliced in a salad, you're going to get all of the nutrition and the fiber from the radishes. You want a variety of fruits and vegetables. Remember, we need 10 to 12 cups of vegetables a day, right? And look how beautiful my assistant today sliced up, peeled and sliced all of these oranges. These are cara oranges. And this just makes for a beautiful presentation. If you're, even for yourself, even if you're eating for yourself, our digestion starts with the eyes. I'm salivating right now because I'm seeing these oranges and my digestion is already going crazy, going, oh my gosh, I want to eat these oranges, right? And it makes a beautiful presentation so that it stimulates your appetite and makes you want to eat more what? Fruits and vegetables, right? More fruits and vegetables. So let's just layer those on. Look how pretty that is. Make it pretty for yourself. You deserve to have a pretty salad, okay? Get the juices in there. And I'm gonna do some goat cheese. I love goat cheese. So we're gonna get a little protein from our goat cheese, and now we're gonna make a dressing, okay? Let's put all the goat cheese in there. I love goat cheese. Goat cheese, on that note, I wanna tell you, is much easier to digest than cow's milk, and I'll explain why. Because cow is a very large animal that's meant to make their babies a large animal into a full grown within a year. So the protein molecules are very large. A goat or a sheep, smaller animals, their protein molecules are smaller, so they're easier to digest. So if you're lactose intolerant, I get that. If you love your dairy, switch over to, or try some goat milk or goat cheese or sheep's cheese, and you'll have an easier time of it. Also, for a little bit more protein, we're going to put a little bit of slivered almonds on this salad, okay? And of course, almonds are alkalinizing. I love almonds, love them, love them, love them. Okay, let's get that aside. We're gonna put a little bit of sea salt. You know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get rid of that. And I wanna show you something with sea salt. You know, you can have your little half a teaspoon or teaspoon in your salt. I very rarely use it. I was taught from a child, we always have our sale grande, the larger salt for when you're boiling water and need salt in the water, and our sale fino. This is my sale fino. And how do you say fino in English? Fine, okay? And I want you to get used to pinching, using those beautiful tools that you have, your hands, to disperse your salt, as opposed to clunkily getting a spoon and doing this and maybe getting too much. And get an idea, how much is a pinch? How much is a bigger pinch, right? And understand how much salt you're adding to your dishes, okay? So get used to using those wonderful tools that we were given, our hands. Now let's make a little bit of a dressing, okay? Our dressing for this salad is going to be some lemon juice, and as my dad would say, literally off the boat Italian, it disinfects, and it does. It disinfects your intestines. So we're gonna put a little bit of lemon juice in there. We're gonna do olive oil. We're gonna do a little bit of honey. And I already put the salt here, so I'm not gonna put I'm so used to putting salt on top of a salad versus in a dressing. You might wanna do either or, okay? It was just a pinch of salt. And honey, we're gonna do about 1.5 teaspoons of honey. All right, that's about it. That's 1.5 teaspoons of honey. There we go. Now, I'm going to add the olive oil as I'm whisking, okay? Because that helps to emulsify. And for the olive oil, you want to do maybe, this is a smaller salad, maybe 1/4 cup for this much dressing. Oh, I'm right-handed. We're gonna have to switch this up, okay? So I want you to whisk and pour. Real gentle stream with the olive oil, real gentle stream with the olive oil, and just keep whisking. You're like, Tina, you're not measuring. Well, I'll tell you, I know when the 1/4 cup is up, don't you worry. Don't you worry, based on how much lemon juice was in there? About 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. It's probably a whole lemon in there. We're just gonna keep whisking this up. You know what would be nice in this salad dressing? A little bit of Dijon mustard. If you had a little mustard in here, you can have a little mustard vinaigrette. You don't have to, but it would be nice. And that's where I'm saying, use your imagination. Be inspired to make what you want in your salad dressings. See how easy this is? It's done. Now, I want you to make your own salad dressings because A, it's simple. B, most of the confectioned salad dressings that you get I have rancid oils in them. And even though it says olive oil on the front cover, on the back, if you read the label, the very first ingredients are going to be oils that are very inflammatory for you, like corn oil or soy oil or even canola oil. Yeah, and canola oil is not good for you. And those are not the oils that you want in your life, okay? So it also has MSG. Many of them have a lot of MSG, and we already talked how MSG is not good for your brain, okay? So, yeah, make your own. Super, 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 super simple. It's the idea is 2 parts olive oil to 1 part acid, right? Your vinegar, your lemon juice. So if it's 1/4 cup of olive oil, it's an 1/8 of a cup of your lemon juice. So before you serve it, wait until you're about to serve it. Just drizzle a little bit of that. Look how beautiful that dressing is. Look how gorgeous that dressing is. Here we go. I'm gonna put 1 more tablespoon of it. And the rest of the salad dressing, I can easily put in a jar, put a lid on it, put it in the refrigerator. This will stay good for, since there's no meat in here, a good 7 to 10 days. Okay, the quicker you eat it, the better. So that week is going to be your lemon olive oil vinaigrette dressing, right? You can put a little salt, you can put a little pepper, whatever you want in there, okay? And there we have it, our wonderful arugula orange almond salad with our lemon vinaigrette. How beautiful is that? Next, we're going to plate our paleo stew, and we'll be right back. All right, our Paleo Irish stew is ready. Are you ready? Are you ready to see how wonderful and beautiful it is? Now, it has not come down from pressure yet. So I'm going to show you how to manually release the pressure from an Instant Pot without hurting yourself, okay? Because steam can burn you badly, and you want to make sure that you do this properly. Now, you could allow it to naturally release, and that could take 15-20 minutes. And you know that it's been released when this little red gadget up here is down. If it's up, the lid will not come off. And that was the problem with a lot of the old pressure cookers, that they would explode, okay, because they weren't depressurized before they took the lid off, and you don't want to do that. And that's why the Instant Pot specifically protects you from that. So we're going to get a kitchen towel, a large kitchen towel, and you're going to put it over this valve, because if I touch that valve, you see all that steam's going to pop out. It's going to burn you. Don't go near it. Put the towel over it. Get a spoon. There we go. We're releasing the pressure. It's going to take just a minute or two, but we're going to be patient, because we cannot take that lid off until all the pressure is down. Why? To protect us, right? To protect us. And then once it's opened, we're going to stir it all up, and we're going to serve it. I think maybe we should serve it with a little bit of chopped up parsley. What do you think? A little bit of chopped up parsley would be lovely. And I have some parsley here. I have some parsley. Oh, we have some already chopped up. Look at that. My lovely assistant. Thank you so much. We have some beautiful parsley already chopped up. We'll do that. We'll serve it with that. Be patient here. Be patient, patient, patient. Wait, see? You do not want to get hurt by all that steam. Let it release. Some recipes say to naturally release, because it actually adds to the cooking time. And this particular recipe, we cooked it long enough. We cooked it long enough, and we can naturally, we can manually release the steam. You hear it's almost, but we cannot stop until that is all the way down. Otherwise it is dangerous, 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 dangerous. Okay, that's almost done. But what I want to do while that is still depressurizing, it's going to take a few minutes. Look how beautiful this orange salad is, with the arugula and the walnuts and the radishes and that lemon vinaigrette that we drizzled on top. I'm just going to put this in a plate for us. And the goat cheese. Look how beautiful that goat cheese is, and those beautiful radishes. That all the different colors in this. We've got the orange, we've got a little white, we've got a little red, we've got green. You want all of the colors of the rainbow. And I want you to think on a daily basis to eat the rainbow. You want to eat as many colors of fruits and vegetables as possible, because each different color have a different amount of vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients that your body needs. We need all of this. So look at all of those beautiful colors. And and this was arugula and spinach. That's right. This one had a little spinach in it, and those wonderful, beautiful radishes. So the orange is beta carotene, right? Good for the eyes, good for the skin. The red has something in it called anthocyanidins, which are really good for taming free radicals. Free radicals are cells in your body that have gone a little awry. And what they do, I have to talk with my hands here, is they bang into other cells to grab the electron that they're missing. And in grabbing and breaking up the other cell, it creates more free radicals, right? And all of those cells are going to go around and grab up other electrons from other cells, creating more inflammation in your body. So the more red vegetables and fruits that you eat, the better it is to help with those free radicals. Okay, so that helps tame inflammation. And inflammation, if you want to understand it, is like pain. If you have pain somewhere, you have inflammation going on in that area. And sometimes your body sends too much inflammation to an area. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Okay, so here we go. Our gorgeous, I think fruits and vegetables are just beautiful. And they are. They're beautiful. And I hope that you see them the same way. All right, let's take a look. This is almost done. All right, here it is. It went down, it popped down. So now we can release the lid. Yay! It's release time. I want you to be very careful when you take this lid off. There's a lot of liquid on the lid and you can burn yourself. So you're going to twist it and you're going to bring it in so that the liquid goes in and not all over the counter or splashing on you, okay? So be very careful with that. Set it on the counter, okay? The aroma coming from this pot is astounding. It's to die for. And I want to tell you something. I put a little bit more broth in here than I should have. So to make it a little thicker, I'm going to get some more arrowroot. And I'm going to put a nice big tablespoon of arrowroot in here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my lovely assistant. I am so blessed in my life and so fortunate to have such beautiful people in my life helping me. Thank you, Sakura. All right, so I'm going to get some more of that arrowroot that we put in earlier and put it in there. You know, nothing's perfect. There's no such thing as being the perfect cook, the perfect anything in your life. And when things get a little messy, wash your hands, or, you know, put a little bit more arrowroot in there. There's no science to this. There's no science. And that will make it a little thicker. And that's what we want. When we let it sit for just a little longer, it'll get thicker. And you've got that bay leaf in there. Remember that alloro? Put that right in the compost. You don't want that to end up in people's bowls because no one's going to eat that, right? No one's going to eat that. And if you can find that piece of red pepper that I put in there, unfortunately, sometimes it will end up in people's bowls and someone will end up eating it and go, oh my gosh, that was spicy. Wasn't meant for them, sorry. All right, so let's go and grab some of this beautiful, oh my gosh. I'm near tears for how amazing this smells and looks, and I bet you it's going to taste just out of this world, out of this world. We're gonna finish it with a little bit of fresh parsley. Parsley is wonderful for the liver. It also helps to change the flavor in your palate. Okay, so when they give you a little bit of parsley on a dish, they think it's to decorate, it's to help change your palate and cleanse your palate in between meals. So there we have it, our amazing, wonderful, delicious, hearty Paleo Irish stew. I want to say thank you so much for watching the show today. I hope that you found so much value from this that you're going to go out and make some wonderful Paleo Irish stew and this gorgeous arugula orange radish goat cheese salad with that lemon vinaigrette. And I hope that you bring this health and wellness to yourself, your family, and to your friends. Thank you again, and until next time, namaste. Bye for now, everyone. Bye for now.